It is not often you get the ability to invest in human legacy when investing in silver. Today we see one of the greatest achievements of human architecture forever stamped in silver as we look at the 50th anniversary Sydney Opera House coin from the Royal Australian Mint. Ancient wonders of the world are great to think upon. Many of them, such as the Library of Alexander, Babylonian Gardens, and the Colossus of Rhodes, are washed from the modern experience. Luckily for us humans, innovations and expression kept moving forward, giving us modern wonders such as the Eiffel Tower of Paris, Christ the Redeemer statue in Brazil, or this opera house in Australia. So many around the world are proud of their skyline of their local metropolis, but on rare occasions you have something so identifiable that it becomes a global icon. Buildings like the Chrysler Building in New York, the Taj Mahal of India, or the Forbidden City of China, to name a few, have been bookmarks to recall chapters of human history. From the Imperial Asian dynasties to Art Deco in Manhattan, the structures of our past tell us so much about who lived before us. One of the very unfortunate things about living in America is the youth of our nation. Most suburban cities are so young that the architecture therein is rather bland and boring. There is no connection or pride associated with historic buildings or city centers, and thus leads us to disconnect with individuals caring about the overall development and upkeep of their cities, with the exception of things that make life less convenient or efficient for those Americans. Australia is a fairly young nation by world standards, and yet they have maintained a sense of pride and the love for design and architecture. There's not a finer example of this than the amazing Opera House. A little history on this opera house. It was added to the UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2007, but was constructed in 1959 with the help of 10,000 workers. Paul Robinson was the first performer, according to my research, and sang, of all songs, Old Man River, which is a song from America's first big musical, Showboat, and is actually about the Mississippi River. Connecting to America more is the price tag. It was originally estimated to cost $7 million to complete, but the actual price tag was $102 million, which is just like the expectations given by American politicians to us voters. Of the 233 designs that were submitted for the Opera House International Design Competition held in 1956, Jorn Olsen from Denmark was announced the winner, receiving £5,000 for his design. Olsen said that he drew inspiration from clouds, birds, walnuts, and trees, which I don't really see when I look at this building, but hey, I've never been a perceptive man to modern art. I think it looks more like a cluster of barnacles or mussels, which I actually really like, as it reminds me of the ocean and the constant calling tune of the ocean present in the rhyme of the tide. Some fun facts I did not know about this building is that the heating and cooling is controlled by seawater, which is cool, and it apparently is an amazing location to ring in the Lunar New Year, which is just around the corner. It should also be of note, I really love this coin as I have a degree in music, and as a vocalist I have performed in operas as well as ran the fly for an opera, so I've seen many sides of the production of an opera in spaces like this. But that's enough about me. Let's find out if this coin is right for you as we place it on our 60-point scale. When we look at the obverse, we see the metaphoric last leaves of the season as Her Late Majesty greets us from a memorialized gaze. All of the proper wording is in order, as well as the addition of the range of years signifying the late Queen's reign. We see the small JC on the shoulder. As many of us know, that stands for Jody Clark, a master artisan who has crafted Her Majesty for some time. I wonder what emotion was present as Jody etched the last lines of Elizabeth. I would love to hear the thoughts as the longest chapter of monarchical presence and coinage ended. This is a classic and simple design. It is not over the top, but it is everything one would come to expect from the Royal Australian Mint. Great quality and sturdy design. I scored a 7 as the background could have been textured or something to prevent what feels like too much open canvas or negative space. Now is the time for the reverse, and what a reverse we have. We have so many amazing elements in play worth talking about. The first of which is obvious, which is a fantastic depiction of the Opera House. What a quality view. It is balanced well and even has a bit of depth to it, which can be really hard to capture on a coin. If you notice above, we have some arcing lines which remind me of sound waves, as sound waves move in all directions, unlike light waves. The title text is great in the center, and we have almost a hidden purity in weight, followed by another set of waves entirely as we meet what looks to be more of an artistic representation of oceanic waves. We also see in the top right the designation of the 50th anniversary of this iconic building, which was taken even further by incorporating the 0 in the 50 in a way that ties in the building. This is about as well done of a reverse as I've ever seen featuring a building, and thus scores a 10. Mintage is our next area to cover. In this coin, we have a symbolic mintage number. It is the 50th anniversary, and the mintage is therefore 50,000, which is not too high or too low, scoring an 8. Now for cultural significance. I'm not sure what it's like to be Australian, but I can imagine there must be some pride associated with buildings like this. I know from the outside as an American, there are a couple of elements that I always find synonymous with Australia, being this building, large marsupials, reef life, and the highest density of animals that can kill you other than Chicago. This is a cultural symbol beyond measure, and the Queen, who is on the reverse, was actually the dignitary that opened the facility. This being said, if I could score it a 12, I would, but 10 is my highest, and thus I shall score it a 10. Our attention now must move to collectability. Australian silver is always a big thing in the marketplace. There really is not much that is not collectible from the Perth Royal Australian Mint in bullion, and this is no exception. This is a World Heritage Site. It is popular and known among the elite and the common folk and has pretty good mintage number. The design is fantastic, and this is highlighting a particular anniversary, which basically means this coin's 50 is a privy mark, as this will not happen again. It scores a 9. Uniqueness is our last area. As you may have guessed, a site like this might have found its way on coins before, and you would be right. It has been a little while in the world of bullion, but there are examples such as the 40-year anniversary. This being 50 years does make a measure for uniqueness, but the theme is not unique, so I scored a 7, bringing it to our final thoughts and score. The final note of the encore rings in at a 51 out of 60, meaning by a margin as small as the conductor's baton, we have an elite coin. At the get-go, I was not sure if it would be elite with 50,000 minted, but I think this coin being released as a 50-year anniversary puts it over the top. It is truly a work of art about a work of art, and it is fit for any collector. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, please remember to stay classy and current with the culture of currency.